Yo, your path and your purpose is specific to you. You have been born with an identity that's uniquely yours, and that will lead to the path that you take and the purpose that you align with. That will lead to that being something totally unique to you. And at times, that unique purpose or that path or even your identity doesn't always make sense to everyone else. Most people look through the lens of success and they try to align it with what was already done, right? So sometimes people will say, oh, this business, this is the Uber of this particular industry. Oh, you all are trying to be the Amazon of this particular industry. Or with sports, a lot of times people want to find a comp or a comparison to relate this current sports figure to, right? So and so, oh man, he's kind of like a Michael Jordan, or he's kind of like a LeBron James, or he's kind of like a Barry Sanders or a Tom Brady, or whatever the thing may be, right? Or whoever it may be. But the thing is, who you are through the lens of identity and through the lens of your purpose and also your path and your process might be unique. And that doesn't always make sense to everyone else. And you have to be okay with that, okay? Because you are one of one. Even if you have an identical twin, you are one of one, meaning God stitched you together and put the things inside of you because he wants you to bring something unique into the world. You are a creator. If we're like God and God created us to be like him, and he's the ultimate creator, we are supposed to create. That means our job is to not simply go and copy, right? So yes, we can take best practices from other people, but the reality is those best practices were practiced by someone else that may or may not fall in line with your practice. So this interview here, this is A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, one of the greatest baseball players, ever to lace him up. And it's the guy who created, the Savannah Bananas or Banana Ball. And this dude is really fascinating. But in this interview, and we'll go and stop throughout it all, you'll hear A-Rod make the assumption about business that everything is designed for an exit, or everyone builds a business to sell it or whatnot. And it's interesting to hear this guy's response on it. And it plays directly into the notion of your identity, your path, and your purpose. Hear this, and we will break it down in a minute.
The plan. Do you sell to a big, you still have to have an exit plan. Do you sell to a big private equity group? Do you sell to your children? Maybe talk to us a little bit about that. And how much time have you thought about this?
5 years ago, we just started Banana Ball. So I could ever expect we'd be in front of 3.4 million fans with over 4 million people on the wait list. And playing football stadiums in front of 100,000 fans. That's crazy. I don't think about exit plan. If it gets to a point, if I had to think about it, no interest in going public, no interest in shareholders or other owners. It would have to be a family business. I probably think of what's happened with Chick-fil-A. You look at the businesses, as soon as they go public or get another different ownership, they change their goals. They got to repay the debt. They got to get money. They got to do all that. All those things that takes away from the fan experience. So I think about how do we get better every single day? How do we create something?
He thinks about how we can get better every single day. When I heard that part, it made me really think about like purpose, your path, your plan, but also identity. Like, who were you created to be? Remember, A-Rod in the very beginning of this interview, he mentioned that, what do you do? What do you think about exiting? You think about private equity, you think about how to do this and how to do that. It's like A-Rod was thinking through the lens of traditional business, right? You build a massive entity and your goal is to sell it or create some type of legacy or, succession plan. And in most instances, that's kind of the pathway that most people take. But when he was talking about, I hadn't even thought about that because it's really about the fan experience. It's really about me doing what I've been called to do, or, creating something that's special and unique. it just made me really think about how we need to approach what we do. And yes, we take insight from other people, we take perspectives, and we take, best practices, but we have to run it through the filter of how we were designed, but also what was the mission we were designed to accomplish. Let's hear the rest of it, and we'll chop it up a little bit more.
We create something people have never seen before. How do we create more fans? The long game for us is, I believe we're going to create 1 billion fans. And it happens one fan at a time. I will do this till the day I die. My wife knows it. My kids know it. It brings me so much joy seeing the fans get emotional, hugging after the game and saying, you have no idea how much this meant to us.
So the little clip got kind of choppy, but he said his goal is to create 1 billion fans for Banana Ball. And then he was also talking about how his kids and his wife knows that literally he's going to live the rest of his life doing and building this thing, right? Like that's his purpose. And the succession plan, that may be something, or he may look at it from a family legacy perspective. But the reality is his plan, his purpose, his identity, his calling, his path is to create dynamic fan experiences right now, to create lasting memories for people right now, to impact as many lives as he can right now. And yes, I think there's power in planning, there's power in strategy, there's power in succession and legacy plays and generational wealth and all of that. But I think there's even more power in knowing who you are, knowing whose you are, but also understanding the mission that you were called to accomplish. There are some people who are supposed to create generational plays, right? There are some people who are called to do things in a way that are supposed to be here for hundreds of years, right? There are some people where that is their path, that is the mission that was placed inside of them. But then there are others who are supposed to be dynamic for a season of life, and that's what they were called to do. They're supposed to impact the people that they have access to in this specific season, this specific, time period, and that's it. No more and no less. But the question is, if that is your calling, are you willing to lean into that? Do you have the courage and the confidence to lean into the fact that, you know what, my job is to do what I'm doing for this season? That's it. And then can you have enough faith, courage, and confidence to believe and know that when this season is over, if I'm obedient here, then whatever's coming next, that will come, and I will be obedient to that as well, even if I don't know it, right? Because I think sometimes, and I'm guilty of this as well, when we find something that works or we find success in a particular area, we just want to ride that thing until the wheels fall off, right? Just continue to ride it. But I think we don't talk enough about people not exiting or not leaving or not stopping when the mission is accomplished. And it's like, yeah, I think we don't talk enough about that, because there's a lot of wisdom and discernment associated with knowing when it's time to leave, knowing when it's time to turn the lights off, knowing when it's time to lock the doors and move on to the next thing, knowing when it's time to pivot, right? Like there's wisdom and discernment on that. And I think we have to stay in direct connection with God so that we can get those downloads on a regular basis that will tell us like, yo, it's time. It's time to shut it down. It's time to move on. It's time to do something different. And we just have to listen, one, but then have the radical obedience to then act, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. Because sometimes what's communicated to you ain't gonna make sense to everybody else. But do you have the courage and the confidence to be radically obedient anyway? Yeah, that was interesting. So hearing this interview just really made me think, and it made me be really reflective of my journey, right? Like, what things in my life do I need to just shut down? What things in my life, is the runway coming to an end and it's time for me to step off and do something else? Or what areas of my life do I need to foot on the gas and go even harder, right? And those are kind of like my prayers daily, right? It's like, God, show me what I need to do right now. What do I need to shut down right now? What do I need to step into right now? Where am I thinking too small? Where am I not thinking big enough, right? Show me those holes. Give me the wisdom and the discernment, and I'm going to be radically obedient to taking the proper action, because to me, success is radical obedience to what I'm called to do, right? Because if I'm radically obedient to what I'm called to do in this specific moment, everything else falls into place. The future's taken care of if I do what I'm supposed to do right now. And that's my challenge to you as you navigate life in developing and becoming the quarterback of your mindset, right? Are you being radically obedient to what you're called to do, whether it makes sense to everybody, whether other people buy into it, or whether you kind of feel like this is a little odd? Are you radically obedient to what you are called to do? Because your path, your purpose, the plan that was given to you, your identity is specifically yours. The question is, are you going to be radically obedient to it and walk it out at a very high level? All right. Well, hey, this was just some perspective, right? What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to get your thoughts on some things in your life that maybe you need to, maybe it's run its course and it's time for a new season, right? Or some other things in your life in which it's like, yo, I'm just getting started. Drop them in the comments. Tell me how you react to this and what are your thoughts. But until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.